POV. There's a parallel universe where your mother goes missing suddenly and your dad moves on with your uncle's widowed wife. You happen to be on the parallel timeline where that evidently did not take place and your parents are in love. Today in Cass, we have Cassandra Goth ready for a CC makeover. I am not going to change her genetics at all, but I did go ahead and get started by taking off any skin details, hair, accessories, hats, glasses, makeup that she had on before. That way I can start with a clean and fresh canvas. So I'm just making minor adjustments to her eyebrows, but I feel like realistically, you could get those changed in real life by either tweezing, microblading, whatever. So I'm not counting changing her eyebrows. But now I'm just looking for a skin overlay because I feel like that just makes such a big difference, especially on plainer NPC, or I'm sorry, on plainer townie Sims. Although I will say, Cassandra Goth is a gorgeous sim. She's just like, her features are so naturally beautiful. She was not hard to make over at all. As you may know from my last makeover video, I really enjoy Sims lore. And can I just say, in this version of The Sims, we need to give our bestie better because Sims 2, that messy situation, that was not it at all. You know, when you look at other games, she's really been through it as far as like her dad moving on almost right away after her mother literally disappears and moving on with, I believe, her uncle's ex-wife or widow or whatever. But looking at her here, she's peachy. That might as well have never occurred. So, what is your guys' theory on that? Like, how did she avoid the being left at the altar and getting married to the same guy who her mom rejected and then got killed or abducted by aliens or whatever? Like, my theory is that Sims 5 is going to come out and then it's going to be futuristic where time travel is possible. And then we're going to find out for a fact that Alexander did go back in time and write the book and change the course of history. But on the other hand, I feel like that's probably not going to happen because I believe Maxis did confirm that that Bella in Strangeville was the real Bella. So she was not dead and therefore kind of debunked the Alexander Goth theory. But let me know what you think on that. But not to share my unsolicited opinion or anything, however, I'm going to. How did Sims really miss that opportunity? I feel like, you know, the fandom has actually created way more satisfying theories than, you know, Maxie's probably did. It's probably just some like in the drawing board they were like, the mystery is she got abducted by aliens. But, you know, I don't know though, because it seems like they do plant some things like, you know, in Sims 3 we see her tombstone, but then she's also a child. So, you know, I do feel like there could be more to it, but I'm hoping that in Sims 5 we'll have some kind of conclusion drawn. It's worth noting that while The Sims 2 does Cassandra completely dirty, they do give her the opportunity for a bit of a redemption happy ending story because her neighbor, I believe his name was Darren Dreamer, is secretly in love with her. And yeah, I remember when he came with like the welcome wagon when I was playing Sims 2, she did autonomously flirt with him. So, you know, that's interesting. I don't know if the game like is designed to do that for some of the pre-existing townies to kind of like help you into the lore that they want or not. It's definitely not the case with The Sims 4, but what have you guys uncovered in your playthroughs, like with the Goth family? I'm interested to know, and it's also worth noting that I didn't actually personally play Sims 3. I was one of those people that was just very attached to Sims 2, and to be honest with you, I still very much miss the gameplay. But the graphics of Sims 4 are enough to kind of keep me playing The Sims 4. Um, but I guess I'm definitely one of those people where I feel like The Sims 4 is almost perfect. It's just missing lore and gameplay, and I don't even need a Sims 5 really if they could just make some of those changes. But that's totally, that's off topic completely. But um, I'm interested though. What am I missing because I didn't play The Sims 3? I vaguely know about, finding the tombstone while Bella is still alive as a child. But I didn't actually play through it. So I would be interested to know, like, how you guys played through it and what you were able to uncover, and what did Bella autonomously do in those games? Because in The Sims 4, it seems like the townie Sims are just like, any of the other Sims. It seems like, in The Sims 2, like, there were certain destinies that were almost like pre-programmed and would play out if you didn't like intervene with it, but it doesn't seem like that's the case in The Sims 4. And I am struggling to pick a hairstyle for this queen because I'm sorry, she is drop dead gorgeous. I am genuinely tempted though to play The Sims 3 and maybe even The Sims 1. So when you see me playing Sims 1 and Sims 3, you just gotta mind your business because I need to just know the tea. I get so invested in things like this. My husband and I both are just so into mysteries, and we love a good crime doc or, just a good story. We're both very like into storytelling, and yeah, so I think, fiction or not, we love a good story. So I love that the most about The Sims 2 is that they just did so good with the storytelling, and it was so carefully done too. So that, even as a new player that's not experienced in The Sims, you, with the trailers and the descriptions and the neighborhood descriptions, you get the tea right off the bat, or at least a taste of it. You get to sample the tea. I did go on Reddit looking for some kind of controversy or lore or theories on Cassandra Goth specifically, but there really wasn't anything because the main mystery really is with Bella. But there is certainly some tea with Cassandra. So, this isn't, I don't have anything from Reddit to read for you guys today, but, I would be interested though if you know of any, controversies or fan theories pertaining to Cassandra Goth and not just specifically her mom. I know there are a lot of theories about like the Goths and wanting to maintain like their status. And there was a ghost in Sims 2 named Lolita Goth. That was a young adult sim, and there's like some theories that they were actually killed because of some reason pertaining to money and status. So I don't know the full story on that, but it would be fun to make a video on it. So if you guys like the lore stuff, then I'm definitely happy to keep going with it. I also love just doing builds and speed builds and kind of like making my own families, moving them into houses, and then either building them a house or renovating the house. And I plan to make connections between the Sims that I create and come up with like neighborhood stories as I'm making my save file. Because, like I said, The Sims 2 was really where it was at for lore for me, but I'm perfectly capable of storytelling as well. So I'm excited to make a more interesting save file and kind of like make the townies look like my Sims and make the houses and the community lots look like more in line with, I guess, my aesthetic. But when I say that, I don't mean like, beige and expensive and modern, which I mean that I guess that kind of is my personal aesthetic, but you know, EA starter homes are definitely just, and even the mansions, like what is with the super weird builds? Like they're not even, the aesthetic really can only be described as EA aesthetic, and it's no offense too because I know that they just want them to be playable. Like when they're making lots, they're not thinking about clutter and aesthetic and style. They're thinking about playability. I could not tell you if playability is a word or anything, but if it was, I feel like it probably derives from the word player. And that reminds me that I need you to keep Cassandra away from Don Lothario at all costs in this game. I don't want her to shake his hand, breathe the same air, work at the same establishment. We need to give her a better life in this saves file, because I'm sorry, but what happened in Sims 2 was not just a disaster, it was uncalled for. When I tell you that this is my favorite townie makeover that I've ever done, I am just enamored. She is slaying. Her Riz is not mid, or whatever the young Gen Zs are saying these days. Um, no cap. But like, I don't even know if I used any of those words correctly. I learned about them on TikTok from a reel. But anyway, so thank you for joining me today. And, I'm sure you don't want to watch my videos anymore after the whole no cap, Riz, mid, whatever thing. I want to assure you, though, that back in my day, as a sophisticated people, we said bae and swag ironically at first and then not ironically. So with that clarified, I'm sure you actually do want to subscribe. Let me know though what you thought of this makeover and what you would do differently or the same, what you liked and what you didn't, and also what you would like to see in the future. If there's another townie that you want me to do, like a Lauren chill, Sims and chill kind of video on, while we make them over in Cass and just talk about the lore, or if you'd really just rather me stick to speed builds, let me know down below. And also, are there any Sims that I should create or any stories I should play out or incorporate into my new save file? I think it would be so fun to have pre-made Sims with pre-existing relationships and skills that tell a story in my save file. So if there's any, neighborhood stories or tea that you would want me to incorporate, or rivalries or scandals, I would love to hear your ideas. I definitely have ideas myself, and I'll be trying to make connections kind of as I go along, rebuilding and renovating, and, new builds in Willow Creek and making over the townies and things like that. I'm definitely going to be creating stories to go along with it and be brainstorming ideas to make the save file more interesting and to kind of connect my Sims to each other. So if that sounds good to you, I would love it if you would stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. And I would like to thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and bye for now.